let's talk about cup koozies. Stick around to the end and I will be taking it apart and giving you measurements. This is a wholesale item, it is not handmade. The wholesale cost of this item is $4, the MSRP is $8. I've seen people selling these for $10, $12, $14. These come from a wholesale website called fair.com. I'm sure there are other wholesale websites you can find them on. This particular seller is called Oak Shore Collective. However, the rest of this video I will be mistakenly calling it Oak Ridge Collaborative. In order to purchase Oak Ridge Collaborative's cup koozies, you need to make a minimum purchase of $85. In order to purchase from fair.com, you need a business license or proof that you're a vendor somewhere, so something like a picture of you selling something or a vendor application are acceptable forms of proof, and then they offer you free shipping your first month. After that, they charge you $11.99 a month for what's called insider benefits, where a lot of the sellers there will ship for free. However, not every seller you want to buy from will ship free, even if you purchase the insider coverage. So I did a little deep dive. Well, how are these people getting them on fair.com? Turns out most neoprene is made in China. It is likely, though I cannot prove it, that the sellers on fair.com are using a website to access factories in China. If you care about things being American made, then does this count as American made? As a girl sits in Virginia and draws these cute pictures and sends her images through Alibaba, or other similar websites, and has a wholesale order purchased through a factory in China, then ships to her where she wholesales them on fair.com. If you're concerned about ethical practices, that may be something to consider. However, when I purchased these, I thought about that girl in Virginia drawing these little doodles, maybe on Canva or something similar, sending her stuff through Alibaba, and making a living. And I thought that was fine by me. Lots of stuff is made in China, including the phone that I'm talking to you on. There are many sellers on fair.com doing these trendy cup koozies. When I saw a gal trying to sell these for $12, I went to Amazon and I searched cup koozie. And Amazon is actually selling 3 cup koozies for about $10, a small, medium, and large. And I thought, my goodness, here I am going to charge people $8 for one. The guilt set in. Will I ever repurchase these to sell? I do use them myself. I think they're adorable. And even if I took this apart, which we're going to at the end of the video, to see how it's made, how can I access neoprene that's cute? Sure, you can make these with cotton, but the thing about neoprene is that it keeps your cold drinks cold and your hot drinks hot. It's an insulator. I wondered also if I could use something like cute fabric quilted onto something like insole fleece to give the same benefit, because I don't want to just make a sleeve to have a sleeve. I want the benefits of neoprene. Side note, the first one I ever used was this one here, and I ripped the Oak Ridge Collaborative tag off of it, and I popped the seam. So I had to zigzag stitch it back myself. So if you ever do purchase these, use some scissors to clip. And I thought that I had a good grab on it to snap it off, but I didn't pop the seam because they put the tag right in the seam. Let's take it apart and see what's going on. It looks like they put this on last, and it is sewn in 2 pieces with the bottom. Now I'm gonna take this apart, give you some measurements. And if I do end up making my own with Insole Bright, I don't know that I will add this base, because if your cup of coffee is not full, it will teeter. And if I do take measurements and come up with my own pattern and tutorial, I will post that video. So you can subscribe so that you don't forget. This does feel like a heavier weight polyester thread. I don't think it's nylon. And the thing is, some craft fairs will not allow you to sell things that are not handmade. So even if most of my items were handmade, these technically are not. They are a wholesale item. I would be breaking the rules, and I don't want to break any rules. This is what they consider a medium-sized cup koozie, which is 20 to 24 ounces. This is a stretchy fabric. So I suppose you could cut some fabric on the bias. They used, it was probably 1 inch to begin with, but it stretched out. So I would say 1 inch by, I will write all these measurements in the description. 1 inch by 11 inches. And it is quite stretchy. I've got some great ideas also to give it the same sort of texture, at least a grippy texture, so that it doesn't slip off the cup if we don't end up doing the bottom. But I'm going to be experimenting with all of that so that I can figure out how to make this similar, make it myself, and maybe even make it better, because I do not appreciate the bulbous bottom. All right. It's only slightly tapered. I don't know how much of this is misshapen from being sewn and kept in this shape. I don't know how resilient neoprene is and whether it will bounce back to its original shape. This is what we've got. 2 pieces that are 5 inches tall. Let me just verify, 5 inches tall. And at the top, pretty close to 5 inches wide. Although I will say it was probably 5 inches wide. Yes, this one's 5 inches wide, but it's been a little bit beat up on the edges. The bottom is only 4 inches. So they've tapered it an inch. The circle, the bottom, is 2.5 inches in diameter. Even though I disassembled this, my brain does not work very well in terms of backwards thinking, and that's where you come in. If you can figure out how to assemble this, please let everybody know in the comments, and I will pin your comment. That is very strong thread. Holy smokes. That's very strong. Definitely sewn with an industrial juki, probably. What have they done here? Have they sewn them together like this? And then somehow sewn the bottom on, and then finished sewing up the sides? I would almost assume, if I had paid better attention to which thread came first, I could probably tell you. I'll probably go downstairs and check. They did put this on last. So they've folded in, just like a regular bias binding, the edges. And they've sewn it on like that. It really appears to me that they have sewn this bottom on last. But then how in the world, unless they fit it over the bottom of a machine and sewn it like this? In which case, what's that part of your machine called? No, because then it's on the wrong side. How then were they able to sew this circular piece on? Just short of hand stitching. I'm not sure how you would do that, although this has obviously not been hand stitched. But if you see here, they've gone down and across several times. And there's even a small cross thread going horizontally. And it's this one here, and it's beneath the zigzag of the bottom. So that leads me to believe that this side was sewn first, and then the bottom was put on. When I turn it around, it is so difficult to tell. I went on a deep dive and I started looking for neoprene production facility videos. I found one, but it's not the one that we want, although they may have used the same type of machine. I then went to YouTube to search how they made drink carriers. Nearly every single tutorial I watched, the content creator was making a boxed bottom. How then do you suppose they made the circular bottom? And did they put it on last? Is it possible with a domestic machine, or do we have to hand sew it? I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. I will be playing with this DIY cup koozie, and once I perfect a tutorial, I'll put it online. What material do you think would be best if you can't get a hold of cute neoprene? And do you plan on making your own? See you in the next one.